Horror author H.P. Lovecraft created some of the scariest, eeriest, and spine-tingling monsters that the world has ever seen, with a legacy that has yet to cease. Lovecraft is also responsible for creating the genre cosmic horror, which has become a staple in the horror genre, with many directors even attempting to bring the author's work to life in movies such as Color Out of Space, which I finally watched, so you can all stop yelling at me now. I loved it. It was great. 10 out of 10. Nicolas Cage deserves an Oscar. Anyway, I'll move on. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary Lovecraftian monsters. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. With that, let's jump in. These are my views, my opinions. I like these 5, so don't yell at me, okay? In at number 5 we have Cthulhu. Cthulhu is a great old one who lies in a death-like slumber beneath the Pacific Ocean in his sunken city of R'lyeh. He is the titular character of the Cthulhu mythos, first appearing in the 1928 story The Call of Cthulhu. Now, while he is not the most powerful of Lovecraft's creations, he is certainly the most famous, with his name becoming associated with evil and Lovecraftian horror since the 1920s. This monstrous creature was born on the planet Vol, I think that's how you say it, located in the 23rd Nebula. He travelled to the star Zoth where he spawned his offspring. In most stories, Cthulhu lays dormant deep under the ocean within the sunken city of R'lyeh, but he can still influence the world via many telepathic powers and, of course, his many cults and otherworldly minions. It is said that once Cthulhu awakens, he shall rise from the depth and end the world. Thankfully he has yet to do so, but he has come close. In the 1920s, a group of sailors came across his sunken city, which had been brought to the surface by the alignment of the stars. They opened up the strange buildings only for Cthulhu to exit and attack them. The creature halted its attack when the sailors used their ship to cut him in half. As they sailed away, they could see Cthulhu reforming into a whole being again. His appearance changes from story to story, but he is most often portrayed as a monster of vaguely humanoid shape with a squid-like face and wings. He is also considered terrifyingly large and apocalyptic, being the size of a mountain. Being nearly godlike to humans, Cthulhu is immortal and has great strength and can endure great amounts of damage and can only be killed by near omnipotent power. In at number 4 we have Jagalnak. Also known as the Defiler, Jagalnak is a creation of Ramsey Campbell, first appearing in the short story Cold Print. He is a great old one and the god of depravity and perversions. However, it should be noted that Jagalnak is over any type of perversions that any sapient being can conceive of. He is an entity so feared that the Cthulhu cult is noted to hold him in contempt. He resides behind a brick wall in an undisclosed area, his goal being to eventually break free from his entrapment and destroy everything in his path. To this end, Jagalnak creates a cult enlisting folks who read forbidden literature. This results in him manipulating his victims into reading a chapter of the Revelation of Galaki, which houses his name. Once summoned, he will ask the summoner to become his priest. If not, he will devour them. Not only that, but he has the ability to possess potential hosts. Upon acquiring a host, Jagalnak is manifested as a morbidly obese man lacking a head and neck. On top of that, he sports 2 mouths on the palms of his hands. In the short story we mentioned earlier, Cold Print, Jagalnak takes over a bookstore after he gruesomely murdered the owner and took his skin. To quote Revelations of Galaki, Volume 12, beyond a gulf in the subterranean night, a passage leads to a wall of massive bricks, and beyond the wall rises Jagalnak, to be served by the tattered eyeless figures of the dark. Long has he slept beyond the wall, and those which crawl over the bricks scuttle across his body, never knowing it to be Jagalnak. But when his name is spoken or read, he comes forth to be worshipped, or to feed and take on the shape and soul of those he feeds upon. For those who read of the evil and search for its own form within their minds call forth evil, and so may Jagalnak return to walk among men. Very creepy. In at number 3 we have Nyarlathotep. Also known as the Crawling Chaos, Nyarlathotep is an outer god hailing from the Cthulhu mythos. A creation of H.P. Lovecraft, he first appeared in his prose poem of the same name, released back in 1920. Now, he differs from other deities in the mythos in a number of different ways. Most of the outer gods such as Yogsothoth and Azethov are exiled to the stars, and most of the great old ones are sleeping and dreaming like Cthulhu. Nyarlathotep, however, is active and frequently walks the earth in the guise of a human being, usually a tall, slim, joyous man. It is said that he has thousands of other forms, all reputed to be horrific and sanity blasting. fighting. Now, while most outer gods seem to have cults serving them, Nyarlathotep seems to serve several cults and takes care of their affairs in the other outer gods' absence. Not only that, but Nyarlathotep uses human language as opposed to the alien languages the other gods use. He also enacts the will of the outer gods and is their messenger, heart and soul, the immemorial figure of the deputy or messenger of hidden and terrible powers. He is also the servant of Azethov, whose fitful wishes he immediately fulfills. Like I said before, his first appearance was in the eponymous short story by Lovecraft, in which he wanders the earth, gathering legions of followers through his demonstrations of strange and seemingly magical instruments. Coming in at number 2, we have Yogsothoth. Yogsothoth is a cosmic entity and outer god hailing from the world of Lovecraft. Born of the nameless mist, he is the progenitor of Cthulhu, Hastur the unspeakable, and the ancestor of the Vormi. Now, throughout many different stories in the mythos, his appearance changes depending on the author. However, there seems to be a common agreement that Yogsothoth visually manifests as a mass of glowing orbs, with eyes or sometimes even tendrils in some versions. It is also heavily implied that he is omniscient and is locked outside the universe, which means he can know and see all of space-time all at once. In other words, there are no secrets kept from Yogsothoth. Now, Yogsothoth is called upon from time to time to assist mortals in performing occult deeds or rituals, the most notable occurring in the case of Charles Dexter Ward and the Dunwich Horror. In one case involving the town of Dunwich, Yogsothoth is known to have been summoned for a sole purpose of impregnating a human female, who then gave birth to 2 partially human children, where still the summoner was the husband, who was known to have stood on a hill in a circle of stones with a Necronomicon while shouting the name of Yogsothoth from the summit. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Azethoth. Also known as the blind idiot god, the demon sultan, and the nuclear chaos, Azethoth is the overarching antagonist of the Cthulhu mythos and my personal favourite god. He is a cosmic and boundless deity of colossal proportion and the great and all-powerful ruler of the outer gods. He first appeared in the 1922 unfinished short story of Azethoth in name only, before being mentioned in multiple other Lovecraft stories, including the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. It is said that he is omnipotent, beyond the power of the great odd ones such as Cthulhu and even his fellow outer gods, that includes Yogsothoth and Yib. Azethoth is seen as the all-powerful creator of all of existence. Azethoth's appearance is only hinted at throughout the mythos, being described as occupying a position outside of the universe, where it is attended by a cohort of alien servants who continually bathe it with the sounds of pipes and drums. All of reality is merely a part of Azethoth's dream, which was unknowingly created by itself. When Azethoth awakens, all things will end once and for all, and all will once again be Azethoth. He cannot be destroyed, as the concept of destruction is merely his dream, and he exists beyond the concept of speed, strength, mortals, and the outer gods, as they are all merely part of his dream. Essentially, none of this is real, we're just inside Azethoth's dream. Love that for us. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any Lovecraftian monsters that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scary body horror movies that are hard to watch. Whiskey Brewer said the guy who wrote the fake Gumtree ad that inspired Tusk actually became one of the film's producers. I just love that part of the story. I actually had no idea that was the case. That makes the story 10 times better. I wish I'd included that in the script. Forgot about that. Thanks for letting me know though. The more you know. 90s Magical Girl said seeing Lucy giggle and smile about the human centipede and the possible unfortunate new caterpillar is pretty adorable, honestly. It's funny that you find it adorable. I find joy in torture porn. That's what that is. I can't wait for the human caterpillar. Gonna be my favourite film. Can't wait. I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray 4K. Pokerface said, drinking game, drink every time she says hard to swallow. Also, a lot of these are Canadian set in Canada. Are you guys okay up there? Do you need someone to talk to? Okay, I saw a few comments where you guys, like some of you found it funny that I kept saying it's hard to swallow. Whereas one person, I read a comment, was very upset that I kept saying it was hard to swallow. Didn't realize I was doing that. Chris, did you know I was doing that?
No, I didn't.
Exactly. If Chris didn't notice, what's the problem? Some films are hard to swallow. It means it's tough to consume. I like that term. Anyway, yeah, a lot of these films were Canadian, which I appreciate a lot. We love Canada. Canada's the best. Carrie Ann said, I love this channel, always delivers. Thank you, I'm glad you're a fan. K Lily M said, I want to make a clever comment but I'm too tired, thank you for another excellent video. Honestly, that's how I feel every day, I'm so tired. I wish I could be clever, but is what it is. Justin Cameron said, if I made a cult of Lucy, like or comment if you would join. I can't remember how many likes that post got, but it probably got 0. There was probably a few downvotes, so don't think the cult's happening, I'm afraid. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary bit. And until next time, see you later.